investment hacks. Okay, so today I will share with you guys, right, on some things, right, whereby nobody will ever tell you this and nobody will ever share you this in an orthodox class. That means in the classroom, right, your lecturer won't be telling you all these things, okay? But these are actually important things and indicators, right, that you want to look at if you're interested in investing, okay? So number one, you need to understand that the market is rigged. You like it or not, right? If you really look at the MSCI World Index over the past 100 years, right, why has the market been growing? Why has the whole entire S&P 500 been growing year after year after year? Okay, over the past 100 over years, the market has been growing. The reason is because there are people actually manipulating the market. Yes, but you like it or not, right, the market is rigged. What do I mean by that? Recently, right, if the market and the economy actually tally, there should be a huge drop in the whole entire market share prices. But as a matter of fact, right, the market has been going up and up and up. Why is that so? It's because of the invisible hand of the US Federal Reserve. Okay, the US Federal Reserve, right, has been pumping tons of money into the whole entire economy, and then, as I mentioned in my previous video, right, what happened is that all this money, right, get funneled back into the stock market, which drives stock prices higher and higher. Second thing you want to know, right, is majority of the companies, right, do share buyback. This also shows that the actual share that you are investing in, right, the company that you are investing in, right, the price of the share is also rigged. When a company does share buyback, right, what happens is that they actually drive up the prices. Okay, so why is this happening? Okay, let me give you an analysis of why do companies do share buyback. Personally, right, I'm not a huge fan of share buyback because I believe that they can use the money to do a lot more things, like for example to pay their workers better, to spend more money on R&D, to develop more product suites and stuff like that. But companies do share buyback because I don't know if this is true, but this is what I think, okay? Why they do share buyback is because they want to drive up share prices. Most of the corporates, right, most of the CEOs, CFOs, right, they are being paid not via cash only. Okay, they are also being paid, right, via their share. That means they are doing giving out share options. Okay, so when they are being paid out, let's say for example 10,000 shares. Okay, so do you think as a CEO, right, do you think I want my share price to drop? I would not want my share price to drop. So what happened is that I want to give back to all my shareholders, so I do a share buyback. Okay, so there are many massive companies which I should not mention, which does share buyback. Actually, you can just Google and then you can see all the companies which does share buyback. So what happened is that they create this bubble, okay, this entire bubble in the share price, okay, whereby if assuming, right, they were to pull out, right, their share buyback, the stock price will actually drop and crumble. But in reality, I don't think that will happen. I don't think they will stop doing share buyback unless the company's direction is already set to not do share buyback. For example, Tesla does not do share buyback. Okay, whereas a lot of other companies, they actually do share buyback. So this compromises on their future R&D, research and development, and also compromises on the amount of money they could have given to their workers to make the whole entire workforce happier and then so on and so forth, more productive. The third investment hack, right, that you should know, right, is this. Okay, nobody is able to accurately predict the market, right, up and down over the long run. Okay, you may do it right once, you may do it right twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. You may do it just because of the because of you're lucky or because you do the technical analysis and so on and so forth. But so far I've not known one person, right, who can do 100% correct prediction of the market. Okay, let's take a look at why. This is simply because, right, the amount of events, right, that is happening in the whole entire world is too many to predict. Okay, for example, if you have watched Avengers, you will know Doctor Strange. He's able to see so many different scenarios, right, which is going to pan out. He can see if this person do this, what will happen, this person do this, what will happen, which led to the ultimate only one scenario which can kill Thanos, okay, which was Iron Man killing Thanos. This is exactly what you're trying to do, right, when you try to predict the market. Okay, when you try to predict, right, who kills Thanos in the end. Okay, then you have to run through all the different scenarios and you have to guess and predict one correctly. And you have to consistently do it. So this is why, right, I do not really invest for the short term. Okay, in day trading, right, they look at technical analysis, they look at the fundamentals and stuff like that. But I can tell you, right, not 100% of the time they can get it right. They probably can get it right 50%, 60%, 70%. If you are very, very good, you get it right maybe 80% of the time. But it only takes maybe 1 or 2 bad trading days, right, whereby if you do not put your stop loss, you can lose all the gains that you have made. So in the past recent months, of course, the market has been doing very, very well. And then past 2 months especially, market has gained 30%. I would say it is relatively easier to trade when you have a macro trend. Okay, but for example, last Friday, right? Okay, when the Dow actually slipped by more than 1,000 points, right? Many traders lost money as well. Okay, so this is what I'm trying to say. Okay, you cannot accurately predict because you cannot foresee so many different scenarios. For example, if Trump were to say something, it will actually result in a drop or a rise in the stock market. Okay, if Jerome Powell were to say something, it will actually result in the up or down in the stock market. So if President Xi Jinping say something, right, it will also result. So you see, we cannot predict what they say. Okay, we are unable to predict that okay, they are going to make peace. US and China is going to make peace tomorrow, or maybe US and China is going to wage war tomorrow. You see, these are just things that we cannot predict. So how can we predict, right, the stock market, whether it's going to go up or down? So the best thing you can do, right, is actually to invest for the mid to long term. The fourth thing, right, will be this thing which I personally look at when I invest in the stock market. I actually look into this thing which is something quite unorthodox, but I have been right so far, okay, which is a raving fan base. Okay, yes, you hear me right, a raving fan base, like raving fan base, okay. So we want to take a look at a few companies which has a raving fan base. Okay, number one will be of course Apple. Okay, Apple, as you know, right, even before they launch a phone, there will be a huge line of queue outside, and then people will be snatching to get the first product, the first launch of the iPhone 11, iPhone 12, so and so forth. Okay, so what happens is that Apple is very, very intelligent. They have created a raving fan base. Why? Because they created an ecosystem and they associated their brand, right, with being cool, being prestigious, being elitist. So everybody want to be part of this, so they became a fan of Apple. And then of course, you know, as of now, I own AirPods, I own like iPhone, I own iPad, I own Apple Watch. Yeah, so it created a whole entire ecosystem. And at the same time, I subscribe to the Apple iCloud. So like it or not, if I don't buy any product from Apple this year, they're still going to make like 200, 300 bucks from the iCloud subscription that I did. Okay, so this created in me subconsciously being a fan of Apple, because it's just too difficult to switch out to any other phones. Even though it's better, the camera is better, the platform is better, the OS is better, but it's very difficult for me to switch out. Okay, so with this, I know, right, that Apple, as long as they have a huge raving fan base, right, they are able to, you know, grow consistently in the years to come. Obviously, this is based on if they continue to innovate. If they don't innovate, right, that means they don't continue to produce new products. One day they will be stagnant and one day they will die as well. Okay, but Apple so far has been so good, so that's why you see the Apple prices, right, has been shooting up all the way to the moon. Alright, so this is something that I look into as well. So of course, a company like Tesla, which I've been talking about, and I'm very, very bullish on Tesla. That means I really believe that Tesla is going somewhere. Okay, it has a huge raving fan base as well. Okay, so there are certain companies like, for example, Nike, Adidas, Puma. This sports company, right, they don't usually have a raving fan base. Okay, they usually, what they have is you know, just normal people who, you know, just like particular brand. So like for example, right, Adidas created this thing called NMD. Okay, so I think Adidas is very smart because people are going for the NMD brand. Okay, so they actually created a small little group of raving fan base. Okay, then of course Nike created Air Jordans, but in general, right, the brand itself is quite replaceable. Today I can use Nike, I can wear a Nike shirt to go along with Adidas pants, to go along with Under Armour shoes. Okay, I don't really have a particular you know, allegiance to any of the sports company, but I do have allegiance to the phone company that I'm using, which is Apple, and then of course the company that I really believe in, Tesla. Alright, so the next one, right, will be the product. Okay, the product, right, that they produce, right, you see many companies, right, they have a lot of very interesting ideas. Okay, But you know, once upon a time, a mentor actually told me, right, that ideas are cheap, ideas are plentiful. So how many times have you seen an idea which is yours, right, being implemented, right, and you say, hey, that's my idea? Okay, so many times. So in reality, right, ideas are cheap, but execution, right, is the problem. If you're able to execute your ideas well, right, this is where you'll make good products and you'll make good money. So when I invest in a company, I will look at two things. One is their ability to have good ideas, okay, their innovation, okay, and then another thing will be how well are they able to multiply this product, simply called scalability. Okay, how well are they going to replicate this product? Do they have enough factories? Do they have enough materials? Do they have enough demand to actually go and create this? So once again, I use Tesla as an example. Okay, Tesla as of one of the previous video that I did, right, on why Tesla will grow 10 times in the next 5 years. Okay, so Tesla is currently focusing a lot on infrastructure. They are building a lot more factories. So now they are building the Shanghai Gigafactory, their Berlin Gigafactory, and then also the Texas Terafactory. What happens is that they are building a lot of infrastructure to cope with the demand. So this is actually good. That's why I'm actually investing in this company. They are always innovating. So they have come out with their Tesla semis and recently their Cybertruck. So you see they are constantly innovating and yet they can replicate the product at a very quick speed because most of the production is done by machines. Okay, whereas I compare to maybe another company who has very good ideas but they are unable to churn out the production fast enough, then this will be a cause for concern. Alright, so this is the next thing. Last and finally, right, their financials, okay, of course their P ratio and stuff like that. So you realize that I talk about the financials being the last, but you know, most value investors, right, they actually the first thing they look at, right, is their financials. So the way I invest is a bit different. The sequence of my priorities, right, are a bit different. That's why the companies that invest in, the unit trusts that invest in, the ETF that invest in, right, they are all based on macro trends. This is the most important thing. I want to know, right, where is the world heading towards in the next 10 years. For example, right, based on GDP, the world is heading towards China. Okay, because China has a 7% growth and US only has a 3% growth year on year for the past decade. Okay, so I know that China will be where most of the money will flow into, and this is why I will invest a portion of my money, right, I'll bet on China. Okay, China in general, okay, whatever company, Alibaba, but make sure that it's listed in Hong Kong Stock Exchange rather than to be listed in New York Stock Exchange. Because certain issues, right, you do not want to invest in Chinese company in US. Okay, if you invest in Chinese company, invest them in the Chinese stock exchange. Macro trends, right, is something which I personally think that it is very important to look at. In fact, it is the most fundamental thing that I look at. Okay, like I mentioned before, healthcare, technology, China as a country, and also, you know, emerging markets. These are all macro trends that I look at before I even look at what company to invest in. Okay, in the whole entire New York Stock Exchange, right, there's 8,000 over stocks. How to choose? Okay, it's crazy, no? Are all the stocks the same? You know, we have to look through their financial stuff. Like, no. So basically, I filter first. Yeah, I look at macro trends first. Then I look at a few things that I talk about. Okay, so and last but not least, right, I want to tell you this, okay, that I actually encourage you to invest, okay? Even if you were to lose a few $1,000 or even tens of $1,000s at the start, right, it is worth it, okay? Because ultimately, right, if you learn from a mistake, you will make millions from the stock market, alright? Just by learning how to invest. You like it or not, right, investing is a norm nowadays because when you put money into the bank account, right, you're actually losing money just based on inflation itself, just based on the US continuously printing money, you will lose money. Focus on investing. You can just try out whatever form of investing you want and then see how it goes from there. Alright, like, share and comment on my video. This is the longest video I've ever done, so I hope that I have value added to you. So you can give this video a small little like. Okay, so that's all for this week's video. Alright, so I will see you on the next week. Ciao!